Welcome to this explainer. Okay, today we're tackling something absolutely crucial. We're setting the stage to unravel the chain of business responsibility when things go, well, horribly wrong. We'll be looking directly at the legal mechanics of partnership liabilities, what actually happens when a partner goes completely rogue, and how the taxman operates when a business enters the ultimate test of insolvency. So if you want to understand the exact legal protections and the vulnerabilities of different business structures, you're definitely in the right place.
Picture this for a second. What if your business partner secretly takes out a massive bank loan, say $10 million, and just completely squanders it? Who pays the bank? Is it you? Is it the firm? Or, no way, does the bank just have to eat the loss? This high-stakes hypothetical, it's not just theory. This stuff actually happens. Understanding your legal liability is literally a survival skill for any business owner. By the end of our time today, you'll know exactly how the law answers this terrifying question.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here's our roadmap for today. We're covering 1. Understanding partnership liabilities. 2. The principle of agency. 3. Limits of partner authority. 4. Professional undertakings in law. And finally, 5. Insolvency and tax priorities.
All right, Section 1, Understanding Partnership Liabilities. Right, so before we can figure out who's on the hook for that massive rogue bank loan, we really need to establish how businesses actually hold debt. The absolute bedrock of modern business protection is this concept called separate legal personality. Now, according to Sections 6 and 7 of the Limited Liability Partnership Act, this concept creates a crucial protective veil. Think of it like a legal force field. It essentially treats the business as a distinct, living entity, totally separate from its owners, meaning whatever debts the firm incurs, they stay with the firm. It acts as a massive shield, protecting your personal assets, like your home, from the financial obligations of the business.
Now let's compare the 3 distinct types of partnerships, because the risk levels here vary wildly. If you're in a general partnership, well, you face unlimited personal liability. That means if the business goes under, the debts can absolutely roll over and follow you home until they're fully paid off. Yikes. Then you have limited partnerships, where some partners are limited to their capital contribution, basically what they put in, but the general partners, they still carry that unlimited risk. But enter the Limited Liability Partnership, or LLP. Here, all partners enjoy full limited liability. It provides the ultimate shield, ensuring that a firm's debt is strictly the firm's debt.
Moving on to Section 2, the principle of agency.
So you might be sitting there thinking, great, an LLP structure makes me completely bulletproof. Well, actually hold that thought, because despite those limited liability protections, the actions of a single individual can still financially bind the entire firm. And this brings us to universal agency. Across all partnership types, this agency principle is universal. It dictates that every partner is an agent of the partnership. Basically, whatever a partner does in the ordinary course of business directly commits the firm. If you run an accounting firm and your partner does something accounting related with the firm's blessing, the whole firm is bound by it, no escaping it.
Let's contrast 2 hypotheticals to really highlight the strict boundary of this liability. On one hand, imagine a law firm partner taking client instructions and then just squandering the client's funds. Because handling client funds is directly related to the firm's actual business, the firm is legally bound. They have to pay that debt. On the flip side, imagine that same partner goes out on the weekend and accidentally hits a buddy with a golf ball. Aside from desperately needing golf lessons, the injured friend cannot sue the law firm. Why? Because hacking away on a weekend golf course has absolutely nothing to do with the partnership's business. The test is strictly about whether the action was in the course of the partnership's business.
Which brings us to Section 3, Limits of Partner Authority.
Okay, so what happens when a partner completely defies internal rules and secretly borrows that $10 million we talked about earlier? Well, the crucial point here is a 2-limb test under Section 17 of the Partnership Act. To distance itself and actually survive a rogue partner's actions, the firm has to prove 2 steps conjunctively. Step 1, the firm must prove the partner lacked the internal authority to act. But here's the catch. Because of the indoor management rule, outsiders don't know your secret internal partnership rules. That means the firm must also prove Step 2, the third party, like the bank, actually knew the partner lacked authority. If the firm cannot prove both of these steps together, the firm is legally liable to pay the bank.
Now, let's say the worst happens. The firm is forced to pay that $10 million bank loan because the bank genuinely had no idea the rogue partner lacked authority. The firm isn't completely helpless here. The Partnership Act actually empowers the firm to aggressively recoup those losses internally. You can expel the rogue partner, you can exercise a lien against their initial capital contribution, or you can even apply for a court order directing them to pay the firm back under Section 44. You've got options to fight back internally.
All right.
Section 4. Professional undertakings in law.
Let's briefly narrow our focus to a very specific scenario raised in the sources regarding law firms. A professional undertaking given by any advocate or even a staff member in a firm binds that firm. But there is a vital distinction here depending on how you enforce it. The LLP firm, thanks to its separate legal personality, carries the contractual liability to honor a breached undertaking. You can sue the firm for breach of contract, for sure. However, you absolutely cannot cite an LLP firm for professional misconduct. Only the individual, natural person, the actual advocate who made the undertaking, can face the Law Society's disciplinary tribunal. It's a really important distinction.
And finally, Section 5, Insolvency and Tax Priorities. Let's get into the main event.
We have arrived at the ultimate high-stakes battleground, when a firm completely fails, enters liquidation, and the taxman comes knocking. This brilliantly illustrates the undeniable legal gravity of tax liabilities during a company's liquidation. Under Section 246 of the Insolvency Act's second schedule, tax is explicitly classified as a priority preferential debt. As the source material bluntly puts it, and this is a quote you should remember, whatever you owe the government must always be paid first.
Now here is where things get truly fascinating. Let's compare a standard operating company with one that's under administration or liquidation. In the eyes of the Kenya Revenue Authority, or KRA, the tax recovery process remains exactly the same. The process literally does not change just because a company is failing. Instead, KRA simply treats the newly appointed liquidator or administrator exactly as if they were the company itself. The liquidator steps directly into the shoes of the dying company. No special treatment.
So, practically speaking, that means an insolvency administrator must follow the exact standard sequence laid out under the Tax Procedures Act. If a tax decision or assessment is issued on day 1, the notice of objection must be filed by day 30, ultimately escalating all the way to the Tax Appeals Tribunal by day 60. Think about that. Even in the absolute chaos of winding down a dead company, the administrator is legally bound to fight a tax claim using this exact same timeline and process. The clock doesn't stop for insolvency.
Let's quickly lock in these rules of engagement for insolvency taxes. Yes, tax remains a preferential priority debt. Yes, KRA treats the administrator as the company. But listen to this closely, because it's crucial. Even during insolvency, KRA cannot just blindly demand money without proof. They must still follow the assessment process and provide documents showing the tax is indeed due. However, remember this, the burden to formally object and prove why the tax shouldn't be paid, that remains squarely on the shoulders of the insolvent company and its administrator. It's on you to fight it.
Which brings us to our final, and quite frankly, terrifying question. Do you truly know the limits of your own business partner's authority before the taxman or creditors come calling? We've seen today how a single rogue action can bind a whole firm, how tough it is to shake off that liability with the two-limb test, and exactly how unforgiving the tax priorities are when a business goes under. I really hope this explainer has shown you the real-world, practical importance of understanding these exact structures and liabilities. Thank you so much for joining me, and keep learning.